Okay then, today we are going to talk about one thing and one thing only. There is a rumour going around that Saebyeolbe will not be leaving the Overwatch League. Now, a little while ago, we did find out that the NYXL had dropped Saebyeolbe and would not be renewing his contract. He was the captain of that team. He was the figurehead of that team. Saebyeolbe is a massive figure, not only at NYXL, but not only in Overwatch League, but also in Overwatch Esports. He's very well known. We all have heard of the married man meta. Well, this is it. This is Saebyeolbe, right? So, Saebyeolbe also had a storied history with the Korean World Cup squad as well in 2017 and 18. Right, so he leaves NYXL. We're now getting rumours that Saebyeolbe could be joining up with the Seoul Dynasty. That would be very, very interesting. Now, it would be monumental in a lot of respects, for both sides. Saebyeolbe has always been sort of a rival of the Seoul Dynasty. He's always been on the NYXL against Seoul Dynasty, losing to Seoul Dynasty in the Asia playoffs of this season, to where Seoul Dynasty went on to go to the grand final. NYXL got left in the playoffs and didn't even go to the grand finals. And he's also, been part of LW Blue, which back in the day used to go up against Lunatic High. So used to compete in Apex with Lunatic High. So there is a storied history of Saebyeolbe going against Seoul Dynasty or Lunatic High in its previous form. And for him to then move over and become part of that team would be monumental. Treason to some people, I'm sure, but also it's a big move for other reasons, I would say. I think it's a very good move for Seoul Dynasty for a number of reasons. Not only is it a leadership figure that Seoul Dynasty have just lost now when they lost Toby, which was something that really surprised me. And I think they need that leadership figure, which Saebyeolbe can provide. He can provide that team captain. He can provide that stability, that experience. Now, Saebyeolbe is still a great hit scan player as well. I don't think anyone doubts that. He's also got a nice little bit of a road hog on him sometimes, but we don't see it very often. But his Sombra, his Tracer, he's well known for. He's also got a great Widow and McCree. Saebyeolbe is still a great player. Despite he's still 24 actually. He's only actually 2 years younger than Toby. So Saebyeolbe's still got a bit of life left in him. And I just want to put this idea in your head. Saebyeolbe and Prophet. Two of the players that were almost godlike in the inaugural season of the Overwatch League, pairing up at the Seoul Dynasty. It just seems like an insane concept. If you'd put those two players together in the inaugural season, in one DPS line, people would have been looking at you and they would have said, my god, that's not fair. That's not fair. That is the best support duo, the best DPS duo in the world. Hands down. In 2019. Nowadays, Prophet is still at the very top of his game. Is Saebyeolbe? I think he needs to rekindle some of that. I'm not going to lie. I still think Saebyeolbe is a great player, but I still think he has a bit of rekindling to do for that perfect top-end form. But you can't deny when you get Saebyeolbe in something like a Tracer, he just goes. He really, really does. And I think, Seoul have kept Fitz. So Fitz, Saebyeolbe, Prophet? My goodness me, what a DPS line for Seoul Dynasty in 2021. What a leadership in Saebyeolbe. Put that alongside Gesture, they still have Marvel, maybe a new off-tank, and then we have to see who they get in the main support role, alongside Creative. You're still looking at a great Seoul Dynasty side, and I've seen some power rankings recently that have been rating the Seoul Dynasty quite low, and I'm not quite sure why. Yes, people may be valuing the fact that they've lost Toby quite highly, but I think it's recoverable, providing they get the right person in. What I would have liked to have seen the Seoul Dynasty do is actually keep Toby for another season and sign Sanguinar, and maybe have Toby have Sanguinar as his understudy and sort of teach him and have him as his protege. I would have liked to have seen that, and I think that could have worked quite well for the Seoul Dynasty, but they didn't end up doing that. But bringing in Saebyeolbe does bring in a new leadership figure into that team. And I would be incredibly interested to see how it would work with him, Prophet, Gesture. It would be amalgamation of some of the best parts of the inaugural season. Now, I do keep saying the inaugural season because, well, yeah, it's a while ago now. It is a while ago. But people will go on about, oh, this player is washed, or this player hasn't got it anymore. Saebyeolbe has got great aim. He used to play CSGO. He plays hitscan. He's still a fantastic player. And I still think he would be a fantastic pickup for the Seoul Dynasty. And I still think it would be a massive loss for the Overwatch League if Saebyeolbe wasn't there. Not as big as perhaps some other people. And it's a great loss to lose someone like Toby, although he could be going to another team for all we know. So, Saebyeolbe going to the NYXL is massive. But from a PR perspective, to the Seoul Dynasty, I say is massive. From a PR perspective, it's also massive as well. Remember, this is not confirmed though. This is only rumours. So, Saebyeolbe going to Seoul Dynasty. It's like, he's such a massive figure. And Seoul Dynasty is the obvious only representative of Korea, his homeland. So, that would be, again, a massive PR move for Seoul Dynasty. To have one of the best known names, not just in Korean Overwatch, but in all of Overwatch, on your team, to have that figurehead, in terms of merch sales, things like that, it would be massive for Seoul. It would be very big brained. Much like Gesture and Prophet, but for different regions, because they had a much more bigger impact on skill, which I don't think Saebyeolbe will have as massive an impact on the skill of the team like Gesture and Prophet did. However, I do think that leadership that Saebyeolbe can bring to this team is almost unrivaled. A bit like Moss in some respects, moving to the LA Gladiators. I think that's a very big move. Not necessarily purely for mechanical reasons, but also for team atmosphere and team guidance reasons. And I think this is what Saebyeolbe could do at the Seoul Dynasty. I think maybe Seoul did lack that ever so slight little bit of direction last year. That person maybe that can turn around to them in the lobby or in the dressing room, whatever. They don't have dressing rooms. In the rooms and say, guys, let's turn this around. Let's go forward. Let's pop off. Let's do this. Let's do that. That leader, that person that's going to unite the team and push them in the right direction. Super does it for the San Francisco Shock. Moss used to do it for the San Francisco Shock, and I'm expecting him to do it for the Gladiators. And I think Saebyeolbe could do this for the Seoul Dynasty. And it would be rather interesting because I don't see other people on the team that do that. Prophet doesn't tend to be like that. He tends to be a really jokey guy, but I don't think he tends to be a leader. Gesture, not so much either, I don't think. So I think Saebyeolbe could be that figure for Seoul. And if so, then I think that could be massive. Really, really massive. And I think Saebyeolbe's great. And I think Saebyeolbe deserves a shot at the league. Honestly, I didn't know whether he would get another team. And also, I didn't think he'd get a team that had done quite so well last year, to be quite honest. I mean, technically, Saebyeolbe is getting an upgrade here. He's going from a team that finished in the playoffs of APAC last year to a team that literally were runners-up of the entire league. So technically, Saebyeolbe is getting an upgrade of a team if this happens. And that's Pog. Like, that's Pog. And I think he deserves it. And maybe he's looked at the Seoul Dynasty, and maybe this is his chance to finally get the title that's eluded him. He's got 2 stage titles with NYXL to his belt. He's never, ever got that season win. Seoul Dynasty was so close last year. And maybe Saebyeolbe can get that win with the Seoul Dynasty. It would be very, very massive. And I think it would be deserving in some respects for the amount of time, effort that Saebyeolbe has poured into this league. And the amount of skill he's put on show at times. I think he deserves a chance. So, that is our little debate for today. Saebyeolbe and the possibility of him joining the Seoul Dynasty. I'm not going to lie, it caught me a little bit off guard, but it is a very interesting move. And, hey, maybe the married man meta is on its way back to Korea and its homeland. Anyway, this should be really super interesting. And really super interesting. I've never used that terminology before. This should be super interesting. But we will keep an eye on it. And if it does happen, then Man, oh man, that's going to be interesting. And there's going to be some pretty heartbroken NYXL fans, I'm sure. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you'd like to give a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.